I started working on this issue 19 years ago. And for 19 years, I have got every morning, without one exception, I have said a prayer to God to put me in a position where I could end the chronic disease epidemic. And on August 23rd of this year, God sent me Donald J. Trump.
All right, the last time a Kennedy has served in a presidential cabinet was Robert F. Kennedy Sr. when he was the Attorney General for his brother, John F. Kennedy. Now, Robert F. Kennedy, his son, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., is going to be serving in a cabinet position, but for a Republican president, Donald Trump. The Trump campaign making it official that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will be his next Health and Human Services Secretary. Aisha Hosni has the latest right now from West Palm Beach, Florida. Aisha.
We said it might happen in your hour. We were waiting for it, and here it is. It's like they were watching us. So Don Jr. actually tweeted it out first, and then shortly after, his father tweeted it as well. And the president-elect saying this about RFK Jr., that Americans have been crushed by the industrial food complex and drug companies who've engaged in deception, misinformation, and disinformation when it comes to public health. And he believes that Kennedy will be able to wrangle all of these different agencies and get them back to the gold standard. So here's another pick that isn't as surprising as some of the other ones. The name had been floated for a while, and we knew that on the campaign trail, the former president had talked about giving him a health-related role. So this was definitely something that was not a huge surprise. I will say I'm hearing from some Hill sources now, Neil, that are telling me that this is going to be another one that might have some problems with confirmation. But at this point, they actually think that the Matt Gaetz situation is a little bit more troubling for some senators, and it doesn't even compare to RFK Jr. I will add that Trump may have done a favor to some of these Republican senators who might be iffy on RFK Jr. because they all just left for the weekend. So they don't have to face the camera right now and answer any questions about RFK Jr. But here we go. Another big name that just came out. Caroline Leavitt sort of previewed it, said that we might be seeing some more names this afternoon. And this is the big one of the day. Neil?
All right. Great reporting.
My initial inclination would be to use the Justice Department and the moral authority of the office, but also, the Justice Department should immediately call in begin an investigation of the medical boards and the collusion between the pharmaceutical industry and the medical boards that are delicensing these physicians who actually try to heal patients and try to treat them. The Justice Department will also call in the medical journals that are corrupted by the pharmaceutical industry and explain to them that they're all going to be subject to criminal and civil RICO actions if they don't show us a way that they're going to stop revoking studies and refusing to publish studies that challenge the mercantile interests of pharmaceutical companies. We're going to change the way business is done at NIH.
What a change of leadership, I would say. Yeah. There you go. Get it up. Get it up, RFK. Get it up. Get it up. There we go. Patriot. Patriot, baby. Patriot.
Are we allowing this to happen to our children? These are the most precious assets that we have in this country. How can we let this happen to them? About 18% of American teens now have fatty liver disease. That's like 1 out of every 5. That disease, when I was a kid, only affected late-stage alcoholics who were elderly. Cancer rates are skyrocketing in the young and the old. Young adult cancers are up 79%. 1 in 4 American women is on antidepressant medication. 40% of teens have a mental health diagnosis. And 15% of high schoolers are on Adderall, and 500,000 children on SSRIs. So what's causing this suffering? I'll name 2 culprits. First, and the worst, is ultra-processed food. About 70% of American children's diet is ultra-processed. That means industrial manufactured in a factory. These foods consist primarily of processed sugar, ultra-processed grains, and seed oils. Laboratory scientists who many of whom formerly worked for the cigarette industry, which purchased all the big food companies in the 1970s and 80s, deployed thousands of scientists to figure out chemicals, new chemicals, to make the food more addictive. And these ingredients didn't exist 100 years ago. Humans aren't biologically adapted to eat them. Hundreds of these chemicals are now banned in Europe, but ubiquitous in American processed foods. The second culprit is toxic chemicals in our food, our medicine, in our environment. Pesticides, food additives, pharmaceutical drugs, and toxic waste permeate every cell of our bodies. The assault on our children's cells and hormones is unrelenting. To name just one problem, many of these chemicals increase estrogen. Because young children are ingesting so many of these hormone disruptors, America's puberty rate is now occurring at age 10 to 13, which is 6 years earlier than girls were reaching puberty in 1900. Our country has the earliest puberty rates of any continent on the earth. And no, this isn't because of better nutrition. This is not normal. Breast cancer is also estrogen-driven, and it now strikes 1 in 8 women. We are mass poisoning all of our children and our adults.
Oh, boy. Big Pharma, it's tanking. Oh, the stock is tanking, y'all. Oh, man, look at the market. Oh. Ah. Shout out to them patriots around the world. Look at this. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, you just can't make this up, man. You just can't make this up. Time to make America healthy again, baby. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I'm going to be deeply involved in helping to choose the people who can run FDA and NIH and CDC in a way that restores public health rather than.
Can you imagine if you're at FDA or NIH and Bobby Kennedy all of a sudden? I mean, they must be dying. They must be dying.
But I'll bring in people to run those agencies like Callie Means, like Casey Means. And
you think they're going to, I mean, they have nightmares about that.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, and they should. Bobby Kennedy, thank you.